According to data from the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, complaints about services in the financial services sector made 33%, a third of all cases filed by consumers. The sector was followed by the electricity and telecommunication sectors, which received 21% and 8% complaints against its services. These three sectors alone account for more than 60% of several thousands of complaints filed. The Central Bank of Nigeria commenced migration to a cashless economy with the major aim of enhancing financial inclusion. Different electronic payment options were introduced for Nigerians to adopt, while charges were introduced in some cash transactions to discourage cash option. While this has helped the country to join progressive countries of the world using e-payment options, associated challenges have continued to subject many Nigerians to undue hardship. In a recent audit study by I4A, Inclusion for All, to compare the actual cost of using digital financial services in Nigeria against providers' officially stated prices and fees, it was found that financial transactions conducted by phone failed often, and the prices consumers paid sometimes exceeded caps set by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The findings suggest addressing pricing transparency and compliance is key to protecting consumers and increasing financial inclusion. The widespread uptake of digital services has heightened risks for consumers and raised new policy concerns for the regulators. As digital technologies underpin more and more of our economy, society and daily lives, there is a clear need to ensure that the rules that govern them keep pace so as to drive growth and unlock innovation.
POS terminal dispense errors seem to be a major problem in Nigeria. I personally do a lot of digital payment transactions across multiple channels, but POS channel is the most dominant channel that I engage with. Dispense error has been a major challenge for me as a user. Oftentimes, banks are not able to resolve my refund, and of course, this has affected the way I transact on the POS channel.
So I remember doing a transaction, a point of sale transaction at the supermarket, and I was debited that day, and it was almost, causing arguments because it showed me a decline. I was asking for the reasons for the decline. It wasn't obvious on the receipt because they couldn't print their receipts and all of that. But of course, the supermarket will insist on getting their own fund. Imagine if I didn't have another or an alternative, which is to use my other ATM from another bank. It would have just ended in a scuffle or probably just ended in something that's so unpleasant.
I've had a lot of crazy experiences using ATM cards, even via POS. Like, it's crazy. Sometimes I go to withdraw, and then I get debited. Before the POS machine will even start processing, I've already been debited, and then the printout will come out declined. And of course, the POS attendant will not give me the money because they've not received the alert. So I have to go to the bank. Imagine in this my condition. Have to go to the bank to make complaints and all of that before they will refund my money. It's crazy.
I remember one time I got debited. I was trying to withdraw some cash and I got debited. It was like a lot of cash. And the guy said something that, that is from the terminal or something like that. I have to go to my bank, but there was no receipt. And how am I going to do this? He said he's going to lodge a complaint. So he lodged the complaint, and I got the text message from the terminal or whatever service you uses, and they said that they will get back to me like 3 to 4 business working days. But that took like over a week, and what's going on? So I kept on going back to the guy, what's up? And the guy said, that you're going to do that. So long story short, they sent me an SMS like I think on the 8th day after the transaction happened, and I went back to the guy. The guy said, they've refunded him the money, and so I got my money. That process was just so long, and it's really, really, really annoying having to go do that whole back and forth.
Also, I've had ugly experiences too with the ATM machine. Sometimes you want to withdraw. Even as a merchant, you go because we withdraw from the ATM. So sometimes you want to withdraw 100K, 200K, you have to withdraw 10,000, and it takes time, and you see some people, it will lead to even chaos on the queue and all those things. So I think that the CBN should make it possible that you come and then you can just punch in your 100,000 and then it comes out. It's not hard to do. If you can bring out 20,000, then I think you can bring out more. So they should just do something about it.
When it happens, maybe I use ATM or POS, they will deduct my money and they debited me. Within seconds, they will reverse it so that I can go ahead with the transaction. But recently, my recent experience, I was debited the sum of 6,500 or thereabout. I was debited, I didn't get the value, so I had to go into the bank to fill a form after waiting for 24 hours. Because if you don't wait for 24 hours, they will tell you can't launch a complaint. That you have to wait for at least 24 hours before you can complain, which I did. Then it took about 5 days or thereabouts before they could reverse my money.
I used the POS and I got debited, but the person didn't see it and I didn't get credited back. And it took about 2 days. The only blessing was that she let me go, but she gave me her number and she said I could just give her a call and call her back. So when I got that after the second day, I had to keep calling to let her know that I wasn't running away with her money. But it actually she ended up getting it.
You get one certain time like that where I go bank, go use ATM, do transfer for person. And twice they collect the money safe. And now 20,000 naira the money be, no be even small money for the country. As far as the nation is concerned, you know how 30,000 naira be. I can't even enter bank self, go lay complaint, say make the check for the put eye for the matter. You know even tell self the people come they tell me say make I no worry, say the next 24 hours they will reverse the money. But it can't be like say I can't they happy say they come the bank they lay complaint for like almost Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, 4 days. I don't go bank, lay complaint tire. Nobody do anything about it. They just tell me say make I know what I say they go. You go reverse. Till today the money don't vanish into the air.
I had this event that I was supposed to go to. It was on a Saturday, so Friday night I had to make some purchases like gifts for the wedding. So it was actually a wedding, so I had to make a purchase for the wedding. So I went to the POS. I did the first transaction, it failed. So I was like, okay, I still had like that amount in the account. I did it again and it failed. And that was like the only result. It was already night. There was no way I could, get money at that point. So it was like very frustrating. And this was a wedding I already planned for, I already planned that I was gonna attend, come with my gifts and all the rest. So it was something that I didn't know what to do, and that day I ended up not getting that gift that night. And if I don't get it that night, there was no way I could get it in the morning before leaving for that event. So it was something that I could not handle. I was frustrated, I was very angry with the whole system. So at the end of the day, I didn't get my money reversed that day. They told me I should go there, I should come back in the next maybe 24 hours, and the next day that my money is going to come back, or I should go to my bank and report. I'm going to the bank, it was Saturday, the wedding was on a Saturday. There's no way I can go to the bank on a Saturday to lay my complaint. So it was a horrible experience.
Faced with the growing demand for digital services in many African countries where access to finance hinders socio-economic development, consumer protection and data privacy concerns continue to generate strategic business challenges. Unfair, deceptive and abusive acts have been expanding to keep pace with innovations that are reaching more consumers.
But I can tell you that the consumers seem to feel the pinch of all this POS reversal and issues. I think the issue is something that needs to be fixed because you have people, you've been seeing what's happening in social media, people are going to their banks and having fights and creating a lot of nuisance. So I think there's going to be more engagement on how this can be done, how can it be processed, how can customers go into their financial institution and get something resolved. Also, in terms of consumer protection, I don't know what's in place, so maybe more of communication and engagement with people like us, so we know what we need to do in case the bank falters or the bank is not. I have a case for right now where my bank is not even replying me. So how do you protect my interest, and how do I get to communicate and engage with the right set of people, because I don't know who the right set of people are anymore.
With low regulatory compliance and consumer awareness culture across the continent, this trend is bound to further escalate if not checked.
Seriously, I don't know if there is any way these things can be sorted out. Maybe there's like a regulator that would work on these things or something. I don't know, but it's crazy. It needs to be fixed. Like, the government should look into it because it's not funny.
So I don't really think CBN is doing enough because, this is a recurring experience. And it's almost like every single time you want to use your card at point of sales, there's the fear that something can just happen. Like, there's that constant fear that you either lose your fund or you're thinking about the fact that when you go to the bank, the long queue to get your fund back, and sometimes, it takes days for them to even get back to you, and then sometimes you don't even get the money back because they tell you the money is hanging somewhere and all of that. So I would say that there is little or no effort on the part of CBN to correcting this so far.
There's a need for a regulatory body. There is a need for a regulatory body because that's depriving me of my money for the time being. I could have used that money to do something. So somebody withholding it for that number of days, then I have to complain, I have to stress myself before I can get my money back.
I believe it's high time government should come up with a regulation that will compel stakeholders within this value chain to resolve these issues so that the uptake and the pervasive use of POS terminals increases in Nigeria.
More than a decade ago, 4 out of 5 countries in Africa were not connected to the internet. But now, over 600 million users are online, with 90% using it on their phones. Meaning the cost of compliance around consumer data privacy and protection are tremendously increasing. Against this background, the Regtech Africa Conference 2022 provides the platform for regulators, regulated and stakeholders to engage, collaborate, and share knowledge around new technologies and practices that support better regulations.